Hello there, geometry students. This is Mrs. Hefty here. We're still in chapter 4 and we're talking about triangles, and today the lesson is going to focus on the angles of a triangle. I have triangle ACB drawn there, and one side is extended. The interior angles are going to be the angles inside the triangle. And so my angles are angle A, angle B, and angle ACB. And again, we need to have angle ACB named by 3 letters because I have that interior angle and I have the one that's on the extended side, which is called an exterior angle. So our exterior angle is created by extending a side of a triangle, and I call that, I don't know where it went, I'll call that angle, that exterior angle, angle ACD. The sum of the triangle sum theorem, you've learned this earlier in your education, that equals 180. So when I add up the 3 angles in the triangle, they're going to equal 180. So my angles are my measure of angle A plus my measure of angle B plus the measure of angle ACB is going to equal 180. Exterior angle theorem. An exterior angle is created by extending a side. So I've extended the side here, and this is my exterior angle. To find your exterior angle, let's take a look at my sketch. Here's my sketch. I've measured this angle, and I've measured this angle, and I've measured this angle. First off, I've added them up, and I'm showing you that they equal 180, and you already knew that because you'd learned that in middle school. I could grab one of those points. I'm going to grab my point here. Oops. Grab this point. See how I'm moving these around? As I move them around, my 180 is staying the same. The 180 is staying the same. Now, the next thing I did is I measured this exterior angle right here, and that's 111 degrees. And then what I did is I added this angle here and that angle there, and they're right here are the numbers. And I added them, which is right here. I added those 2 angles together. Do you notice? They equal each other. And now you're saying, well, Miss Hefty, that's 110 and 99 thousandths, and that's 111. This is rounded. I'm going to the 10th place. Should have had them going to the same place value so you can see that better. Let me move that point around here. You see this? As I'm moving it around, it's adding up to the same.
Mrs. Kynes, please call the office.
All the time. So when I add my 2, these are called remote interior. They're far away. They're far away from this exterior angle. When I add those 2 up, they're going to equal the exterior angle. So now let's go back to our notes. So my exterior angle theorem says the measures of the exterior angle equals the sum of the 2 remote interior, eraser's not working very well, interior angles. So when I take and add them up, my exterior angle here is ACD. That's my exterior angle, ACD. I'm going to add the 2 that are farthest away, which are A and B, and they're going to equal that exterior angle. So a real quick example here, people. If this is 50 and this is 80, 50 plus 80 is 130. And yes, some people are saying, well, I could figure that out, Miss Hefty, because 50 and 80 is 130. So this is going to be 50 as well, and then I can find my 130. That does work unless I give you expressions for those angles. Then you are going to have to use your exterior angle theorem. And wasn't it quicker to add the 50 and the 80 together to get 130? Right triangles. Right triangles have a right angle. So I've drawn a right triangle. Here's my right angle. What are these other two angles going to equal? And you're saying, okay, 180, 90, 180 minus 90, they're going to equal 90 as well. That's what the triangle sum in a right triangle, that theorem says the acute angles of a right triangle are going to be complementary. So do you see you have a right angle and the other two angles are acute. So those two angles are going to equal 90 degrees. All right, let's take a look at our examples. I have a soccer example here. I have a diagram that shows the path of the ball being passed, and it's being passed between four friends, and then I have a number of angles that I have to find. So I have friend A, B, C, D, and E. Well, actually C is not a friend, it's just a crossing point. All right, so I need to find my angles. I'm first going to focus on triangle A, B, C, and those angles are going to add up to 180 degrees. So my work here should be the measure of angle 1 plus 32 plus 88 equals 180. So I'm showing my work. My measure of angle 1, I'm adding my two integers together, I'm getting 120. It's 180. Moving 120 to the other side. Measure
The Leadership Forum Planning Meeting is going on at this time in room 20A.
Equals 60. Now I need to go and do my other triangle. My triangle CDE, because 1 is 60, then angle 2 is also going to be 60 because of vertical angles. So I'm just going to write measure of angle 2 equals 60. Last one I need to find is angle 3. Well, here's my blue triangle. This is 60 and this is 79. So now I'm going to go ahead and go, and this is angle 3. My work is my measure of angle 3. I'm using my sum of my interior angles, plus 60, plus 79 is 180, and I'm showing my work here, people. So now my measure of angle 3, plus I'm getting my integers together, 139 is 180. I'm going to move my 139 to the other side. Measure of angle 3 equals 41. And so I'm looking for each one of the angles. So I'm going to box my answer in, communicating what my final answer is. So I've shown all my work here, really taking your calculator and going 180 minus 88 minus 32, measure of angle 1 is 60, is not showing work. You do need to communicate your mathematics, people. Let's take a look at our next example. Example 2, I'm given a triangle and I'm given the measure of angle 1 is 3x plus 20. I'm given the measure of angle 2 is 2x minus 25. I'm given the measure of angle 3 is 5x plus 10. And so I have all of my interior angles. So I'm going to use the sum of the interior angles. I'm going to add them to 180. So I'm going to take my 3x plus 20 plus 2x minus 25 plus 5x plus 10 equals 180. So that's my first step, showing each one of my angles are adding up to 180. Now I'm going to get my like terms together. Here are my like terms. So I have 3x, 2x, and 5x. That gets me 10x. I've got 20 and 10 and minus 25. So when I get those together, I get a plus 15. Okay, so that's 5 not 15, equals 180. Moving my 5 to the other side, 10x, 175, and then I'm dividing by 10 to get 17.5. Okay, now I'm asked to find the value of x, so I am boxing that in. I went up and double checked to see that that's what it's asking for. My last problem, my last example is a fitness problem, and I'm looking for the measure of JKL. So JKL is right here. That is an exterior angle. Remember, the exterior angle is equal to the remote interior angles added together. So I'm going to take my 7x plus 16 equals 5x plus 40. This time, I don't know if you guys are noticing, but I can't do this straight line. I don't have any idea what that angle is. I'm not going to be able to do the 180 trick. I must do my exterior angle theorem. Okay, I'm getting my like terms together at this point. I'm moving my 5, so I'm going to get a 2x. Moving my 16, I'm getting 24. Getting x equals 12. Now when I go back up, it says find measure of JKL. So at this point, the measure of angle JKL equals, I'm looking here, I need to take 7 times 12 plus 16. I'm communicating what I'm doing here. I'm not just taking 7 times 12 plus 16. I'm writing the answer down. I'm communicating the mathematics. Measure of angle JKL, 7 times 12. 12 is, 7 times 12 is getting 84 plus 16. So my measure of angle JKL ends up being 100 degrees. Now, I could go and check this out now, guys. I'm going to clear my picture here so I can see a little bit better. I could do this. I could put 100 in right here. I could take my 12 and plug it in right there. 5 times 12 is 60. So my 60 and my 40 do equal 100, and then the other thing I can do right now is I can say, okay, this is 100, this angle will be 80, okay, so I do have the correct answer. Some students are asking, how can I check my answer? That's one way to do it. Back in example number 2, you could go ahead and check your answer by plugging 17.5 into each one of the expressions in that angle, and then saying, okay, am I getting 180 degrees? So that might be something to keep in mind while you're taking your tests and your quizzes. Make sure you're communicating your mathematics during your homework assignment. You guys have a great night, and I'll see you in class tomorrow.